He might have said it was his life's work. You might have said this not entirely seriously, but he was very serious about it. I was jealous, too, of the purity of his focus, the incremental moves towards one faultless loaf. But then what? When there was nothing left of the bread to improve, what then? Eat of it and be filled. Eat of it and be transformed. Eat of it and nothing changes. The almost imperceptible recalibration of our desire, our satisfaction. Try again. In the days that followed our first meeting, Violet haunted my thoughts. Would anyone believe me if I said I felt an intimacy with her even then? Would they believe that somewhere inside myself I knew what she would become to me? It was in the loaves I saved for her, whirled with flour, in the outfits I started to select the evening before hanging on my cupboard door like bodies in the dark, in the slivers of information I prized out from her, prized out from the others. The matrons watched my little stabs at conversation when she came into the bakery, all my words running into each other. I was trying to be funny, showing off. We had lived in the same city for a while. We might have passed each other in the street. Through the slow afternoons, I pictured her journey to us, a shining green car heading out of the city, stops on the way for her to look at the flowers in the fields. I started to wear a brooch that I had bought in that same city many years ago, pinning it to my chest like a signal, but her eyes upon it made it seem garish and unfashionable. She smiled at me without showing her teeth, and in a fit of rage, I put the brooch in the bin when I closed the shop one day, sat behind the counter and cried. "What have you got to cry about?" my husband asked when I got home that night. He poured me a glass of milk. "We live a very good life," he told me, cutting himself a thick slice of bread to eat with cheese. And it was true. Every day I waited for her to come in without knowing why, without knowing what I would do. Finally, a couple of weeks after she arrived, though it felt like much longer, she put her hand in her pocket one morning and drew out a piece of paper, slid it across the counter. Blue ink, the handwriting of a man. "We're having a party to meet everybody," she said. "Won't you come along?" She gave me the benediction of her smile. I felt my own lips respond involuntarily. I looked down at my hands, sticky, crumbed. "We'll come," I told her. The first time I saw the ambassador was at the lake. It was a small one surrounded by trees a little way out of the town. A hollowed-out copse of trees, the grass flattening vaguely into a path hardly wider than the tracks of a fox in the night. I would go there to swim just after dawn, to avoid the sinister children who threw clots of mud later in the day, like sprites who might hold me under the surface and drown me any moment. In the early morning, I could slip my body into the world unnoticed, slip it into cold water, silken with mud. This body, otherwise covered up with old cloth, apron, perfume, with layer upon layer. But that day, a movement up ahead stopped me in the grass, made me press my body, still clothed, to a tree. A man, completely naked. I could see his clothes folded neatly on the ground behind him. He hadn't seen me. He hunched his shoulders up towards his ears, loosened them, stretched his arms out in front. It was quite cold. Perhaps he was gathering courage, I thought. He walked into the cool water until he was up past his waist, raised his arms and pushed himself in. Until he surfaced, I held my breath. I would give anything to go back and see his body for the first time again. The shock of pale, unfamiliar flesh against green leaf, the hair wet against his head. Standing on the shore, he had looked forbidding, even naked as he was. But the water washed something away from him. He became soft, glowing. He swam long and languid, and I thought of all the bodies I had known, how they had fitted or not fitted into mine, skin and breath on skin. And I lay down in the grass with the wings of the insect.